Hello, are you fucking ready for me to just go insane for like a couple hours? Let's fucking go.
So I figured out how to screen share, and now y'all get to hear me fucking talk forever about all the shit that I want to talk about. And today I'm gonna tell you what fucking webcomics you need to read. I'm also gonna put out the Ghost Song soundtrack in the background, although I'm gonna turn it down a slightly so that it does not overwhelm me, but I think that's the chill vibes. Wait, start over. There we go. The chill ass vibes that we need is the Ghost Song soundtrack. So here we go. I'm just gonna tell you about a bunch of webcomics. This is obviously I mean, it's a lot, but it's not every webcomic that has ever existed. It's also not every webcomic that I've ever read. There's quite a few. I went through 3 computers in a short period of time, and I lost all my bookmarks, and then I was sad and I never caught up on a bunch of webcomics. So there's that. I kind of have an order, but also kind of not. I'm going to try and go through some ones that are already finished first, so they're good to start with. If you would like, I can put links to all of these in the chat, obviously. That is an option if you want to link to any of these, or you can just look them up by name. Most of them, they'll come up with a Google search. It works pretty well. This is by a fucking talented-ass artist who makes a lot of really cool art, and unfortunately this is the only actual webcomic that they have, but I would follow them on other social media platforms for sure. The short summary here, we'll just read the summary because I'm not going to fucking be able to summarize these better than the author does. But every wish has its price, and once each full moon, a fae emerges from a time-worn well to accept them. But what should befall when a guest makes a bewildering wish they fail to grant? What role should they play when they aren't expected to give? So it's this poor motherfucker is trapped in the bottom of a well and just has to grant wishes for everybody and is kind of sad and depressed at life until someone is hey, I like you and I want to give you things instead. And it's what's your wish? For you to have a nice time. And it's that's not how wishes are supposed to work. I'm supposed to give you something. It's a very well done webcomic. I'm always impressed with the anatomy and the poses of this artist always look really good, and as well as just this little thumbnail here is so cute. But the way that they are able to use body language to their advantage and make these scenes feel so real, characters can speak without words, and it is very obvious with this person's art that you can make people speak even without their words, and it's really cool. And so I would definitely check them out, but this is their finished comic, and this is me talking about webcomics, so go read this #webcomic. Also, one thing that I wanted to say sort of at the top of the stream is that how do you find new webcomics to read? And here's the cool thing, is a lot of these are on Tapas and Webtoons just because those are the ones that have been easiest for me to keep up with because they do notify you, which I do appreciate. Other ones don't notify me as often, and so I kind of forget about it for a minute and then go and read the 10 pages that have come out within a month or whatever. Not that those ones are worth any less, it's just slightly harder for me to keep up with. So if you're looking for comics, what you do is you don't go to the front page. You go to Canvas, because this is where the cool shit is. This is where I found all the webcomics that I really like. Because the originals are great and they're fine. However, the state of webcomics today, these all have teams behind them. Multiple people are making these. There's lists of people. And some of these, a lot of the, really good ones are ones that have migrated from Canvas. Boyfriends used to be on Canvas and is now on here. I believe Suitor Armor was once on Canvas. I don't recognize any off the top of my head. But, a lot of these migrated once they were, people... Vampire Husband, that was on Canvas, and that got migrated into the original section. Exception as well. But some of them are they're made by a whole team, and it gives kind of a biased view of what webcomics are supposed to be and supposed to look like. This is Batman. It's a fucking Batman comic, and it's not just made by one person. There's a lot of people who are making it. It's written by someone, and then it's illustrated by someone. A lot of them will often have someone who's doing the line work, and then someone who's doing the colors, and then someone who's doing the shadows, and they'll have a writer, and a lot of them are also adaptations, and there's the original author of the story, and then there is the adaptation writer of what the story is now. But guess what? Anybody can fucking post on Canvas. anybody can just put their shit up, and a lot of them are really cool and popular. You've probably heard of some of these. This one's a good comedy. This was cute. This was also cute. Don't recognize all of these, but a lot of them are really cute and fun. And like, just look for the genres that you like. Like, one of the nice things is that they will sort by genre, and there you go. You're like, I want an action comic. I want a romance comic. I usually look at horror comics because I am a big fan of horror. So I found some of the best comics. Just like look at the canvas section first. Don't look at the like big corporate section. Not that there's not good corporate comics, because some of them are really good, but I prefer some random fucking dude in his bedroom just making it all by himself. For example, here's one that is kind of in the middle of the road between those two. It's got this gorgeous watercolor style. It's about wolves. It's about werewolves. Following in her father's legacy, Quinn's entire life has been devoted to slaying werewolves. But when a young victim falls into her care and her stash of inherited silver bullets begins to run low, the horror of the monsters grows stronger. And it's just a fascinating, somewhat horrifying tale of she happens upon this situation where a family has died and there's just a little girl left over, and she's got this mission to fight the big bad werewolf who's killed this girl's family, and the girl wants to go with her. And it gets into like the morals of it, of some people, they're werewolves and they can't help it, and they're just stuck like this. And is it moral to kill them? They're trying to live their best lives, but they like also kind of have to eat people, and it sucks for everybody involved. And it's just a fascinating little like moral quandary, and it's got good action and good horror and all of that, and I love it. It's so cool. It's so good. It's just a fascinating tale, and it's got this gorgeous watercolor style. You can probably see if I just click through. But like, look at the texture of that. Like, just that page. Like, watercolors, baby. It's rare to see watercolors in a webcomic. A lot of them are drawn digitally, but this is done with like on paper with watercolors. I believe Devil's Candy is also done like on paper and then scanned in digitally and then cleaned up. But it's got such a unique style, as you can see, with all of these watercolors and the delicate ink work. And it's just gorgeous. And like, the art is really fucking creepy. Like, look at his teeth. Look at them. It's really good and evocative. It's really cool. So definitely recommend Wolfsbane. It's on Webtoons. This is a completed comic. If you want to read the whole thing, guess what? Whole thing is there. Speaking of horror comics, Beetle Hands. Oh my god, this one blew me away. I just stumbled upon it one day, and then it turned into like a whole fucking thing. But Jesus Christ. Welcome to Heartland, a nightmarish realm where your own memories come back to haunt you. So this kid just ends up in the Heartland, and all of these beasts that he has to fight and run away from. Not really fight, he can't fight them. They're just fucking gonna kill him. Like, there's the cover image, which obviously shows you, like, it's just such an untenable situation. And as you slowly unravel the mystery of, like, why is he so, like, scared and fucked up? Like, he's obviously got, like, an abusive parental situation, but you're not exactly sure. Like, he's feeling an enormous amount of guilt, and you're like, what are you feeling guilt about? And what exactly did your dad do that you hate him so much? Like, and it's this just twisted web of everything. And meanwhile, the art is just, like, oozing and bleeding, and it's great. Like, this, as far as art style goes, it rivals one other that I'm going to talk about a little later when I'm out of the, like, completed comic section, because that one is still ongoing. But that's Splatterbrain, which has gorgeous art, which I'm going to fucking make you read a chapter of, because, yeah, it's good. But it's just a really cool comic of, again, like, the twisted morals of characters. You know, I love characters that aren't all good and aren't all evil, because it's accurate to real life. Like, people aren't all good or all evil. They're just trying their best to survive in whatever, like, fucked up situations they get put in. And it's really cool to see the way that all of these kind of abstract ideas of, like, emotional baggage can be illustrated and brought into a real monstrous form that is terrifying and yet represents something even deeper, which makes it, you know, kind of scarier in a way. On the topic of horror comics, one other that I would like to suggest is really just this author. His first work was Melvina's Therapy, which is a collection of short stories of all different types. Hare's Arms, Chairs. One of my favorites is definitely Back to More Now, is a great little comic. And these are all, they're individual standalone stories. However, they do have like a thorough line. And in that this bitch shows up in every single one pretty much. And you're just like, what is going on in this weird world where like monsters appear and like this therapist seems to be like trying to make people worse? That's not what therapists are supposed to do. My other favorite is The Overview Effect, which is about an astronaut in space and how he like slowly loses himself, of just he's alone. And there's this great like fishbowl metaphor where they're talking about the world is like a fishbowl and what happens if you jump out of it and you get into another world, and like, do you just ascend? And that is the sort of theme that goes throughout the rest of his stories, which are all also connected. If I could go all the way back again. And then we have Grammarly Island, which is kids in a fucked up theme park all get murdered. All these teens, dead and gone. I don't know if all of them die, but, you know. They visit an old theme park, and then it, like, reveals their past traumas and their past guilts and their past fears. And they all just hate each other at the end. And that's really good. And then this is the final comic in that sort of series of his weird horror comics. He's planning on making more comics, but they're probably not going to be related to the same theory of like other worlds and stuff. And this is where a whole town is sort of, it's similar to Uzumaki in a lot of ways. Where a small town, everybody starts having nightmares that get more and more realistic, and they can't wake up from the dream, and there's people who are just in a coma in the hospital, and it's happening to the whole town, and they can't escape the town, and it all gets worse and worse. Like, you can see there's a color shift in just these episodes. Like, all of these are fucking red. The whole town has got red at the end. But, you know, it's like regular sort of colors, and then it just gets completely just red, blood at the end. But I would definitely recommend his comics. Especially, I think Male Venus Therapy, like, is the one that hit me the most. It's in black and white, which I think can be very beneficial for comics, especially of the horror variety, because it leaves some stuff up to the imagination. And in horror especially, if there's anything that makes it scarier, it's like letting you imagine the fear. Because if you see the fear, then it's like, oh yeah, that is visually scary, but now I know what it is, and now I can try and think of ways to like avoid it or whatever. But if there's an element of mystery, like whatever you can think up in your head is scarier than like the actual monster. That's why like in Jaws is so famous, because it doesn't actually show the shark at all. It's scarier to not see the shark. It's terrifying to not see the shark. But there are other comics to talk about. This is another, I guess we're on the horror thread, so I'll talk about all the horror comics. Actually, I should talk about Elena. Elena is... Ugh. It's sort of based on a true story, but also not. It's just this man is crazy, and he's got a dead chick in his closet, and he's obsessed with her, and it unravels from there. But it's a very good horror comic based on like sort of true stories of people who just like keep dead bodies around and are fucking weird about them. But it's very interesting to see him and the way that like he is exploited, because he's obviously not okay in the head. Like, he's got a dead body in the closet that he's like putting up and dressing up and putting on his dinner table and stuff, and it's like no. But then another character comes in and is like taking advantage of him, and it's like, whoa, interesting dynamics. Sip of water. So I would definitely recommend Elena as well. That's another complete comic if you would like to read it. We're sort of going through the complete comics first, and then I'll get into the ones that are currently ongoing. Ghost Teller, this one might have another season at some point. But this is actually Ghost Teller's technically finished, but then I know the same artists have other... It might not all show on here, actually. They might only show online on like the app, because then you have to pay for them, but this might just be a preview. But it's about what kind of ghost stories would ghosts tell, because to them the scary thing is humans, because ghosts can't really do much, but humans can fuck each other up in a very major way. So I think this is not actually showing them all because it's not in the app, which is lame, which is another reason why you read the Canvas stories, because they're available fucking anywhere, and they also often have their own website. Webcomics fuck in that way. But I would recommend this series. This is like skewing more corporate. It's kind of not that bloody for a horror series, but I still do like it. It has some fun little stories. It's a bunch of like individual episodes, which can be, you know, always hit or miss, but I think most of them are better. Most of them are pretty good. Some of them, you know, I don't like as much, but it's interesting because it's about like fucked up people doing fucked up things, which is the best horror that you can have. This one toes the line between adventure and horror. It's basically like there's a zombie apocalypse and these two girls have to go through it. One of them is in a mascot costume the whole time and you never see her face, and it's cool. It's really cool that you never see her face. This one is, I believe, another one that was on canvas and then got ported to originals, or at least like had to go through like a pitching process. Like, it's made by one person is what I mean. It's just a really interesting story about like, you know, what a zombie apocalypse is like, and like they don't know each other. Like, they met and they've been fighting together for a few weeks, but they didn't know each other before this story started. And yet there is such a loyalty between them, and they are so dedicated to each other despite not really, like, you've never seen her face and you still love her and care about her, and that's something that's quite beautiful. Another one is Spirit Fingers. This one is cute. This one is a comedy. This one is fucking adorable. This is about a young girl who is so not confident. She has zero self-confidence. Self-confidence is zero. But one day she stumbles upon an art group who does... What on earth are you sending? What is this link? It's Gritty! It was just a picture of Gritty. Okay. Yeah, it's basically Gritty in the zombie apocalypse. It's such like a cute mascot costume, not like a creepy one. But this is very cute. It's she meets a group of artists who do crocus art, which is you set a timer for like 1 minute, 5 minutes, and whatever you draw in that time is the drawing. It is not about complete drawings, and they all have such unique little art styles. Like, one draws extreme close-up, so it's just like an eyeball, even though you're supposed to be like doing the whole gesture and everything. And one is like only focused on color, and it's about, you know, sometimes it's hard to be yourself if you don't have anything to like show, but through doing art and discovering art, she's like, this is so cool, and I love art, and now I have something that I can be and something that I can believe in, and she meets all these people and has farcical situations, and it's just, mwah, mwah. It's a lovely little, like, sort of rom-com sort of story about just making new friends and getting a new hobby and being a good person. It's lovely because it's this club of people who all care about each other. It's like, it's one of those comics where you're like, this is the kind of friend group I want to have. Why don't I know these people in real life? I wish I knew these people. They're so cool. I want to hang out with them. It's great in that aspect. This one, this author is currently making another series that I'm very excited about. It's called Marionetta. It's about a weird circus and murder and racism for people with 3 eyes. I don't know what is going on with them, but, you know, it's very exciting so far. But their first comic series was Hooky, which had such an evolution in the art style. This is one of the other great things about webcomics, is a lot of them are beginner artists who just decide to start drawing. And, like, this is simplistic. The limbs are a little noodly. It gets so good, and, like, the shading and the lighting and the way they draw the hair of everyone, like, you can see, like, it's sort of leading into this art style of everything is a little odd and, like, bent. It looks kind of like a cartoon, and that's really cool. And the faces are very simplistic, which doesn't allow for as much emotion as some of the later art does. I don't think you can even see the later art, because the bad thing about webtoons is it is like an app. And this is as far as it goes. And I can't see the later art. I can't show you the later art. But you can see some of it up here. And you can see some of it in Marionetta, of how the art style has evolved over time. Where, you remember how simplistic that was? Oh god, this is going to be a little bit of... Juliet, what have you done? Oh no, she fucking stabbed the bitch! I forgot the beginning of this comic is very intense. But look at how the hairstyles are and how the shading has evolved. Like, that was pretty much flat colors, and this one is very shaded, and look at her costume. I love her costume. She's a mushroom. God dang, this is the same person. This is the same artist. This is them, like, several years and years and years ago. And, like, look how simple the faces are. And not that it's a bad art style. It's gorgeous in its own sort of way. But then, like, the level of detail that they've managed to bring to their art and, like, the costume designs, the character designs, like, they've all had a major level up. And it's so cool and cute. And, like, look at this. Oh, look at the gorgeous backgrounds. Look at how lush the trees are. The world building gets so cool. And all the characters, like, I'm in love with all the characters. I love them all. I'm going to adopt them. They don't need me to adopt them. They're adults, but I'm gonna adopt them anyways because their parents are fucking assholes. I need to show you what a good mom looks like. Ugh. I mean, sometimes it can lose its uniqueness, but, like, I always appreciate just seeing how good it can get, how improved it can get. Because, like, technically, they always improve. Because if you are writing a comic every week and you are drawing this comic every week, you're gonna improve. Like, the way to practice is, or the way to improve is to get practice. And what is a webcomic but getting fucking practice? And you need another drink of water. So this is actually technically a collection of comics. Mari has made a lot of really cool comics. There's a bunch of shorts, which are just, like, like, not even, like, a full, like, comic. They're just so little, and they're so cute at the same time. I love Carrots. This one is adorable. Carrots is great. It's about a fighter, and he keeps, like, showing up at this guy's house, and he's like, God damn it, take care of yourself, and also eat your carrots. Dirt Orange is my favorite. It's, like, a cute little love story about, like, the sort of, like, sacrifices you make for those you love and the sacrifices you're not willing to make for those you love, because he's a bit of a cocky bitch, and he's like, I'll keep going and doing my dangerous job, and he's like, no, I like you, stop it. And then they also have a fucking magical girl comic. You know I love magical girls. Okay, that was a slight spoiler, but magical girls! Yeah. The Well on the House in the Hill is fucking phenomenal. I believe this one got published. Yeah, this one has a book available. It's a girl goes babysitting and she dies along the way and discovers what the afterlife is like. And that's what I'm going to say. And that's the end. It is fascinating. It's a really well done story. And I really admire Mari because I am very bad at telling short stories. All of my stories end up extremely long and not short at all. And the ability to make so many, like, short, condensed, like, it's done and it's finished stories like this, I really admire it. It's really impressive to me. I just remembered one that I had not had on my list. I've got to remember the name of it. Don't look at all this weird shit. I don't know what it is. It's on Hiveworks. What the fuck is it called? Is it in the completed section? I don't know if it's even on Hiveworks or it's just written by an author who's also on Hiveworks. I don't see it. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about that I didn't have in my things. I wanted to write this down. This is Snarl Bear. This is such a cool comic. Look at the colors! Look at the colors! It's gorgeous! This is a comic about colors. Where's the... This is not what I remember. Oh, right! Yeah, never mind, it is. This girl imagines herself in a cage, breaking out, fighting everybody. Ma'am? Excuse me. Yes, sir, what can I help you with? She's living her Meow Wolf. Meow Wolf is a great art collective. I've talked about them before, but go check out their stuff on YouTube. She's living a dull, colorless life. This is another one where, like the anatomy is slightly off and it's a little bit flat. It doesn't look as realistic, but it evolves because they're drawing every week and they're making it look great. And as she finds another world full of color and runs into it, and then is like, well, actually, it might not be a great world to go into this world of color. And, like, even though this isn't, like, obviously the most, I don't want to say high quality of art, but, like, this person has some practice to do and they will improve, but, like, it's already gorgeous. And this is, like, the first chapter, and it's so cool. Like, what the fuck? And now there's this big, like, rainbow bear. Oh my god. Wow! So cool. It's so neat. I would definitely recommend Snow Bear. It is one that is finished. It's so cool. One of the other things I was going to mention is another great way to look for comics is to go, if they have their own website, is to go to the About page. And sometimes on the About page, they will have comics that inspired them. Not on this one, obviously, but, like, some of them will have comics that they enjoy. And it's fucking great. I know, yeah, that's exactly what this comic is about. They're trading boredom for a universe where they're in constant danger, and yet they don't want to go back to their boring life because it's better. And it's a self-destructive sort of mindset. It's very interesting. She definitely has a self-destructive mindset, this main character, and it's fascinating. We're on the links page. Oh, no, there's nothing there. Coming soon. Yeah, right. Hiveworks is a great site also if you want to look for comics. This is a collective of comics. This is all just a bunch of people who like to make their own comics. A lot of them I am going to mention. There's also a lot of them that I started reading and then I need to catch up. Star Troop is very good. I don't know what the latest comics are like because I haven't caught up with it in a minute. I'm sorry. Kojak was really good, and then I stopped reading it because I lost all my bookmarks and I got sad and I didn't read it. And I'm sorry. And Barbarous was good, and then I stopped reading it. So it was Wildlife and Bicycle Boy, Phantom Read, and, like, all of the comics on here. I'm like, a lot of these are really good and I really love them. Another Magical Girl comic, Sleepless Domain. Hell yeah. Hell yes. Hell yeah. Starhammer was interesting. I stopped reading that for some reason. For the same reason I stopped reading everything else. This is by the same authors. Go Get a Roomie, and I haven't read it yet. I forgot that they were making another comic, and now okay, we're switching. We're transferring. This is fucking Go Get a Roomie. Go Get a Roomie is it's so much. This is one of the first pages of Go Get a Roomie. Warning for tits and lesbianism. It's just a gag comic. It's a gag comic about a fun hippie who wants to get with girls and loves everybody, and that's it. She loves everybody, but she doesn't love any particular one person. And one day she stumbles upon Lillian, who just wants to sleep. She has lucid dreams, and she's interested in her lucid dreams and in absolutely nothing else. And together they bring out the worst and the best in each other, and they build a relationship. This is the first bits of the comic. Woo! Titties! And this is how the art style evolves into something very simple, into something very complex with these gorgeous, like, sepia tones. And I'm just gonna read this section of the comic because I fucking love it. No, she just wants to sleep. She is uninterested in sex. She wants sleep and naps, and that is it. She is not trying to fuck. She is immune to Rumi's charms. She is not into it. She's just sleeping because she wants to have her lucid dreams and shit. And this is a retelling of The Rusty Knight, which is a story about, like, not being too strong and letting yourself fall apart sometimes. And it's retold as The Knight in Furs. In the lands of fantastic creatures, mysterious paths, and brave warriors, a beast approached the forbidden grounds of Merlin the magician. Forbidden grounds. Not gonna enter. Dong. Do come in. Please take your shoes off. Oh, never mind. You've already done it. After a fashion. Merlin, at your service. What, were you expecting a naked old man puffing weed on a dragon? Well, you're not exactly wearing clothes yourself. You don't mind? Please, I'm nothing if not a gentle good. I wanted your advice on something. This doesn't even hurt you, does it? No. This is serious. The beast told Merlin of its tale, how it began with a mighty and human warrior, known and loved throughout the land. This brave and noble knight fought the biggest of dragons and saved the prettiest of princesses. And the more the fights, the more the courage, the more the human became. Until even the closest of the knight's companions couldn't recognize their friend any longer. You must go and seek Merlin. I hear he's naked as a baby's ass. And, like, it's this intense story, but it still keeps its humor, and it's so great. Merlin, why did I turn into a wolf? Why did you turn into a wolf? Perhaps to protect even more lives, to save even more princesses. I have twice the strength of as I did before. Twice the strength, twice the dragons. Why do you feel like your purpose is to always protect others? It is proof that I am a good, kind, and loving. As Merlin would say, if you really were good, kind, and loving, why would you have to prove it? I thought you were, Merlin. Indeed, that's what I'd say too. The question is, do you want to become human again? I guess. You guess. Well, that was worth waking me up early. What I mean is, I don't mind staying like this. Like I said, it gives me strength and I can hardly feel pain. But the princesses I rescue wish for my warm embrace no longer, and my paws cannot hold my faithful sword anymore. And when the moon rises, I have the most embarrassing impulses. Not to mention how silly you look drinking water, if you can call it that. I want to turn back into a human. And so Merlin revealed to the beast the quest one must take to change forms. The path of truth is a hard, long road, and appropriately so, for what you will find in the end is the most precious and sacred of all treasures. What will I find? Spoilers! Yourself. The path of truth will first lead you to the Cave of Silence. There, a way out will appear, but only after learning what you need to learn, as Merlin wisely said. Who knew silence could be so loud? I can barely stand it. And I don't have to! Ha ha! How do you like that, Silence? I'm beating you up with words and totally winning! But as the oppressing silence fell again, so did the want to break it. The wolf beast was then faced with a terrible foe, its own thoughts. It first realized how lonely it was, and how scary it felt to be lonely. As the awareness that the night wasn't as high and mighty as it thought it was settled in, a way out started to form. On its trial, the lone warrior started to listen to the silence, and found it had never truly listened to anything or anyone before. Soft murmurs crept in the air. Music rose from the ice, and a voice called inside the beast's own head. You smell like a wet dog. Sniff. How was it? I realized things. My companions were worried about me, but I refused to listen to them, as I didn't want to worry about myself. I've built up walls, or in this case, fur. I guess I am becoming a monster. Ow! Nope. You're becoming human. Your next step on the path of truth is the Tower of Knowledge. Don't be a stranger, make yourself at home. This tower is huge! I've never seen anything like it, even after all my wondrous crusades. I can't even see the top. Knowledge has no limit, neither does this tower. You again. Yes, I am you. Of course you are. You should believe in yourself more often. Not when I seem to develop schizophrenia. Your stubbornness at times, it astounds me. I'm not a child, me. I see. I figure this means the more I know, the more the light will appear. Knowledge is the light by which you shall find your way. Shoom! Wahoo! Level up, baby! Have you mistaken need for love? Of course I don't. I love all my beloved princesses and companions dearly. But doesn't your love expect something in return? No, well, my friends have helped, but I've never asked them to. They grew worried about you because you wouldn't take care of yourself. Always going into battle, saving everyone's skin but your own. How many scars do you now hide beneath that fur? You never asked them to help, but they felt forced to. Why? Because they love you. And I want them to. I need them to love me. Perhaps because I have no love for myself. A hand rested on the knight's shoulder, and a voice echoed, Yawn! Time to go to bed. This is a story that Lillian is telling. And I'm going to skip through until we get to the rest of the comic. Look, funny stuff is happening in the meantime. Oh my god, 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 oh my god. Continue the story. Hey! Whoop. The Tale of the Knight in Fur. Where do you guys even get these things? A hand rested on the knight's shoulder, and a voice echoed, Look around you. You did well. Being honest with yourself is the base of knowledge. It will light everything in your path. Is that? Yes, that is you. I was actually going to ask if it was a tree. How is that me? It's not even human. How can this be you? It's not even human. Do you always have to answer questions with more questions? Would it be as fun if I didn't? It would be less tiring. Is that the exit? Because I would feel less bad about floating upwards towards it if I knew it was the right direction. Trust, Wolfie. Simply trust. Well, I trust you to never answer my questions. How's that? Yep. They've got some good dialogue in this. Seriously, Merlin, why a tree? I'm not going to turn into a plant, am I? Oh, for the love of... She's gone, isn't she? Why don't you look inside yourself for the answers? Oh boy, here we go again. Fine, tell me, myself. A tree is a symbol of many things. It is life, it is stillness and patience. It is wise, for it grows old and remains rooted to earth while still reaching for the skies. A tree also grows by giving its fruits to those in need. It has no ambition, and yet its purpose is as noble as any knight's could wish for. And it's part of you. Please tell me that thing is part of me, too. Would it reassure you if I did? Well, not really, no. You are in the void of will and daring, and I am the shadow of fear and doubt. Welcome, pup. Remember, you don't need to prove anything you wish to be. You already are them. Which means? I need Merlin. I'm afraid she's busy. Busy? Busy what? Playing Packer with panoramics and Dumbledore? Probably, yes. Playing poker, sorry. Fear and doubt are but passing things. In the end, they're only illusion. What's real is who you are. Stop resisting it. Fighting fear with fear itself only makes it stronger. Oh yes, you should definitely just give up. See through its shadow. There's only darkness in here, honestly. Silence! I know this. I know. I dare to face my fear. Take that. Pat. Kablooey! Trust, Wolfie. Simply trust. How's your head? It hurts. So, it's just such a wonderful retelling of this story, and in a way that, like, frames it for the characters, because Rumi has walls. She has walls, and she has things that she's unwilling to share with others, and yet the others care about her and want to break through those walls. I wasn't trying to lecture you. It was just, well, a story is never just a story, and everyone has their own armor anyway. It's it's a story that is specific to people who build up walls around themselves and are unwilling to let them go. And it's really beautiful. Is that the fucking demon's mirror? Okay, I guess we could transfer to this one next. So this is a comic that is currently ongoing. I have suggested it in the chat before. I always forget that it starts with a dude eating a face. Whoopsies! There's technically a prequel comic to Demon's Mirror called A Better Place. This fucking comic is life-changing. To me, this is life-changing. There's a moment at the end that is like, that's how I'm defining my entire life from now on. It's so fucking good. There are two kids watching Saturday morning cartoons, and one day they go out in the woods to find their secret spot. And at their secret spot, there is, in fact, a rock. And at the base of the secret stone, there is an incantation. And when they do a bunch of things, suddenly a creature appears and offers to give them everything they wish. Relationship language is hard, dude. By blood, fire, and sacrifice I am brought forth. Now children, ask what? Ah! Children ask, ah! Children, do you not wish to ask a boon of me? Was I wrong to come? You're a genie and you're giving us a wish. He wants to be able to fly and shoot laser beams from his eyes and explode. And guess what? He gets his wish. And Hannah saves the world. I want to be able to create anything I can imagine. Anything I can imagine. Whatever I imagine it. A very large wish for one so small. Yes. It is yours. Do I really? Ah. Thank you. You're the best. It is a pleasure, child. I'm sorry, one last thing. You said you could take back these wishes? Correct. Well, thank you for giving us these powers. But I can't let you take them away. Not ever. Not for any reason. Child, you cannot comprehend my true form. Do you really think you can destroy it? I can comprehend that rock you're connected to. Wait, the link! I did it! I did it! Theo! I could save the world! I could save everything! And thus a new world is born. Look at what kind of a world she made. It is not perfect. It is strange. It is weird. Ah, my mic! I'm sorry, I just punched my mic on accident. It is fucked up. That's where the conflict of the story is so fascinating, because I guess this is a spoiler, but she's the villain. She's the main antagonist of this story. The person who wants so desperately to fix everything. It starts with her watching the news and hearing about the horrible things that are happening and just wanting to save everything. But she's also a kid. She's just a child, and she doesn't know the proper way to save the world. And there's so many issues that are going on. And the fact that she has this infinite power and is unable to properly implement it, it is so profound to me. One of the cool things about this comic is there are these little asides at the bottom of them. Some of them are very short and some of them are very long. It depends on the comic. The first one that actually came out is Demon's Mirror, which is a Snow Queen story. There is a mirror, and one day it shatters, and they are forced to go get back a piece of it, and it falls into his eye. And he starts getting, like, depressed. Like, that's what happens, is he's depressed now. And he sees the world as horrible, and Gerda does everything she can to go and get him back. And convince him that, like, there is good in the world. And it gets so crazy because she has to travel to... There's all these demons that are after him trying to get back the pieces of the mirror, and it was nothing you did, nothing you could do. It was always like this. I just couldn't see it before. All living things are rotting. It's disgusting. I want to get away somehow. Your friends want to help us. Talk to us. Maybe we can. Let me show you something. The snow? The geometry is complex, unique, and pure. There is nothing false. Kay, it's only snow. I don't think I can fix this feeling you have. True. I know, Gerda. The snow will melt. The beauty will be gone. And then do I hide away again? You need to let us help you, please. And he won't let them help her. Kay, you aren't listening. If it's mental or magical, locking yourself away is still making you miserable. We need to get you therapy and support. We could go right now and maybe... You don't understand how overwhelming these feelings are, but... God, it doesn't feel good. Okay, I'll try. I don't want... Gerda, I said I'm willing to try. What's the look for? And then he gets fucking kidnapped. And she chases after. And there goes the rest of the story. Is she tries to get her friend back. And the metaphors for depression are definitely there. Like, that dialogue at the beginning is, like, the fucking depression. But, like, it's an epic and it's a journey. And now there's a part 2 happening. And let me find the fucking archive so I can see where part 2 starts. So this is all the Snow Queen. And then... it might actually be a faster way, sorry. No. And then we have Angel's Orchard, which is part 2 of Demon's Mirror, which is a continuation of this crazy world that happened. And look at this shit! It also starts with fucked up eating of human heads! We love a theme! What is happening? What is going on? Everybody's eating weird shit, and I don't understand. So many different kinds of food in this world, don't you know? But, like, look at the colors. Look at how gorgeous it is. Who is this guy? Why does he look like a Looney Tunes? What is his face about? I don't like it. I don't like him face. It's just... There are also particular comics, I'm rather panels in Demon's Mirror that, like, oh my god! Listen, Demon's Mirror, The Snow Queen, and also A Better Place, fucking good webcomics. Really great. Rewiring my fucking brain is what these two are doing, and I love them so much. And anyways, I will have to eventually move on. This is another author who has several finished stories. The one currently going on is Rarely Ever After. It's about a serial killer and his monster wife in the woods fucking around. They also have several other really good stories. Some of these are not comics. They are text, books, novellas. This is about a house full of monsters and the girl trying to like get along with them all and figure out their deal. It's just a lovely. I love like pretty much all of the things that Joanne has made. They're all pretty great, and I would recommend her comics in general. Another author that I would recommend. This is not technically a webcomic. This is a website with a collection of comics and a collection of art. This is emilycarroll.com. Emily Carroll also has a few books out. One of them is called Into the Woods. A preview of Into the Woods. This is her best comic, in my opinion. So Into the Woods is a comic about creepy, fucked up things that may happen in the woods. Ugh. Yeah, Through the Woods is the name of it. And it's so cool. His Face All Red is one of the comics that appears in Into the Woods. I think this is another one that I'm just going to read aloud. She makes a lot of comics. Some of them are shorter than others, but this is like the best horror comics that I've ever found, and not because they are particularly gory or gruesome or anything. They're the kind of stories that stick in your head. They're like urban legends. They're phrases that ring around and just infect you. And one of my memories that I love so much is when I first read these, I was reading them like on my phone, and they were not formatted for my phone. So I remember particularly in The Prince and the Sea, which is a comic about a mermaid, I was hunting around for the panels, scrolling around trying to find where they were. And like, that's obviously not how they're meant to be read. Like, the panels are just supposed to be on the page and you can see them and it's fine. But it's such a unique experience to me that like I'll never forget that, like, hunting around trying to find where all the comic pages were. But this is one that was within her, I believe, the first published compilation of her comics, which are just stories about the forest. And then I'll do Out of Skin next, which is also, I think, her best comic, or her favorite of mine. This man is not my brother. My brother has a cottage and a hawthorn tree, with a hawthorn tree and a lilac bush, and a plump young wife with starry eyes. My brother has a fine coat, a vest the color of moss, and a way with people that makes them trust him. This man has all these things, and my brother's face, his handsome face. But just last week, I killed my brother. For a month our village had been plagued by an unknown beast. It killed livestock, wrecked fences, came from the woods. Most strange things do. My brother lost 3 sheep in one night. I was safe, I have no animals. At the town hall, when I offered to hunt the beast, everyone laughed, until my brother said, "We'll hunt it together." The woods were cold, quiet, dark. We passed a tree with leaves that looked like ladies' hands, a common oak, and a stream that sounded like dogs growling, a babbling brook, and a hole deep, full of black that smelled like lilac. How curious! Then we found the beast. I hid. When I crawled from my hiding place and found my brother, he had already slayed it. Just a wolf, he laughed. It was only ever a wolf. And then we both laughed at how I had hidden and how grateful the villagers would be to him. I brought home a scrap of cloth I'd torn from his coat. We were separated. The beast must have devoured him. This was the only trace I found. But I killed the monster. I avenged my brother. And even his starry-eyed wife held on to me and wept. That night I feared another attack, but none came. Instead, people thanked me even as they consoled me. I was given my brother's animals, and I slept, dreaming of nothing. But 3 days later, my brother came from the woods. Most strange things do. The joy on all their faces. But it couldn't be him. It couldn't be. I can't believe I got so lost. Me, living beside those woods all my life. Thank God for my brother. Thank God he killed that devil. And I was the only one who noticed. His fine coat, it wasn't torn. I can no longer sleep. I have dreams, his legs limp, his face all red. And twice I have woken and seen my brother digging. Is this guilt? Is this my brother whole, not a double? And if so, why won't he turn to look at me? This is one that was particularly effective on the phone, of just like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. By E.M. Carroll. The end! The end. Oh! What the fuck is going on? We don't know! And this one was not in that book. However, it is my favorite comic of hers. So I'm also going to read this one. And there are obviously a lot more comics on her website, and I love all of them. But these are my favorites. It was the rain. I didn't find them until the rain chewed up the earth, churned it into mud, and the floor of the forest spit them back out. So yes, that must be right. It wasn't until the morning after the storm I saw them. There were 6 of them, maybe more, a heap of wet skin and decaying cloth, crowded inside a dark pit I'd never seen before. My first thought was, who could have done this? My mother, my father, my cousin? All as dead as the graying girls in the mud, long dead. And I live alone in the middle of the forest in a tiny cottage that no one visits. Except for one. So she buries them. It was dark by the time I finished filling up the pit. I slept, God forgive me, I slept wretched, damp, and dirty, while through the window the moon shone clean and white as a skull. It rained again that night, almost too loud to sleep, but I did sleep, and when I woke, there was something growing from that pit, a tree, but its surface didn't feel like bark. It felt like... And that was before I noticed its leaves. They were hands, thin as parchments, the hands of those graying girls, reaching. I gave up after the first cut. The work was just too gruesome. The next night was still. No storm, no rain, no sleep. Just the sound of those graying girls outside my window. Please open the door. We know you're there. Let us in. We can hear you. Open the door. Did they pull themselves up from the muck? The door. We can see you. Open it. Did they drop from the branches of that terrible tree? I didn't care. I still don't. Their voices. The door. Let us in. I imagine it's what the women from the nearby towns sound like. Lilting, delicate, a little cruel. It must be where he brought them in from. We'll find a way in. It continued all night. We will find a way, so just open the door. We are already inside. Eventually, I couldn't tell the voices apart from the crackle of the fire or the wind in the trees outside. Within a day, I stopped hearing the girls at my window. I stopped seeing them milling about outside, though that ghoulish tree remained. I thought, so foolish. I thought that they were actually gone. But then it started. At first, out of the corner of my eye. This is one of the cool things about her comics, is that the ones online integrate GIFs in a very fascinating way. I told myself that it was all in my mind, a trick of the light, but I knew. I slept, and when I woke, they were everywhere. But what could I do? I couldn't leave. The wood loomed so dark, its trees like hungry hands, their bony branches creaking like the wheels of a distant cart. So I drank out of their skin, and I ate out of their breasts, and I fell asleep inside their mouth with spools of their hair for my pillow. I am a good person. I work hard. When my mother died, I took care of my father. When my father died, I looked after my cousin. When my cousin died and I was alone, I never complained. They say this wood breeds strange things. But I live here, and I am not strange. I am a good person, a good woman. So foolish, laughs the meat of my house. So foolish. He finally showed up today, just before sunset. I heard the wheeze of his cart's wheels from a long, long way off. My face was cold, my throat was dry, my eyes were hot. A very fine evening to you. What would he think of my house? Was worried I wouldn't make it before dark. It had begun to smell. Just in time, eh? Stinking, like soggy flesh, old blood. Are you cooking? I'm famished. But he didn't seem to notice at all. He actually ate. He began speaking of his most recent travels, what wares sold best where. I felt ill. Then it was local town gossip, just like always. His health, the weather, new stock. I told him I knew about the girls. He feigned ignorance. I said, the girls from town, I've seen them, I know what you did. I said for him not to worry, that it was all taken care of. I buried them. Were there more in his cart, I wondered. He didn't stay to kiss my throat this time. He became very pale and said he had to leave. And as he pulled away, their skin began to peel with him. I can feel today will be the last time I see him, but when I think of him from now on, it will be him looking out from all that skin. Don't do murder. It is just such a cool way to depict guilt and ghosts and them clinging to you. Some of the other comics that I really love of hers are My Lady Lives in a Pretty Place, and you can click on all of these and they will tell you about the different rooms in her lady's house. And they don't have an ending. They can go in whatever order. It's similar to the Worthington, which you click on a door. The woman in room 65 was known as a charmer when she was alive. Her things are all left there as though she survives through the collection of dresses and wigs and archive. A woman who thrived on wild parties and wine, who even her lovers didn't think to revive. It's all about a weird hotel. It's just such, the poetry and the art of it mixed together so well to create things that just stick with you. Yes, some of these are, there's one for Fallout 4, and there's some for Bloodborne. I think some of these are fan art of different characters. I'm not sure which all of these are. Some of these are from, this is from the Worthington, I believe. Ooh, it's a little saucy, oops. But she's just got also these like great art. This is from one of her comics. That's, I believe, within one of her books. They're just so fascinating, and they draw me in a way that nothing else does. And they have effective horror in the same way that, like, when you're a kid and you read like scary stories in the dark and they just stick with you, and you think about them, and like you read one about a scarecrow, and every time you see a scarecrow from then on, you think about that fucking scarecrow in the story that was so scary. It's that kind of thing. And I would definitely, over like anything else, because it's so short and it's so like accessible, is to, putting it in the chat, definitely at least like check out, see if there's anything that you're interested in. I would read all of these aloud. I'm gonna not do that right now though. The other one I did do a review of recently is fucking White Noise, baby! White Noise! Yeah. This just got to like the conclusion arc. We are in arc 2. Arc 1 just finished. We're doing like epilogue comics and shit right now. It's so fucking good. This is another one where the art style is so evolved and wonderful. Like, you can see the bones of it here, but the way that like my guy Adrian is like so improved at anatomy, at skin tones, at shading, at everything. Shit. Again, Christ, it's like the war is following me north. So this is just, it's about this guy. Why does it keep cutting out? It's not cutting out on my end. I'm really sorry that's happening. Hopefully the VOD is okay. But he's just he's got wings, and everybody fucking judges it for them, but he's beautiful, and, like, the evolution of, like, the way that the wings are drawn and how well they are done, ugh, it's so good. This is, the Puka with an H, there's a Puka in the comic, but this is the Tumblr of them, and this is a compilation of some panels that they wish to share. Look at the way that, like, the skin looks nowadays, and this fucking beefy ass boy, and the overlap of everything. This is one of my favorite panels. What is going on? It's so cool! Like, the study of anatomy and bones of birds and humans and the mix of them all is so cool. Oh, so intimidating. Oh, so cool. Huh? Who said that? I didn't say that. Ugh. So you thought you'd simply pop in and ask for this very complex scalp work to be done? Well, yeah, I didn't know who else to ask, and people say you're good at this stuff. They're like, I'm leaving, and then they see this is the weight of the public illustrated in comics. The weight of the public's opinion. These are all the leaders who are being assholes. It's so good. One of the cool things is that this character, Mari, can see people's emotions as physical manifestations. So that can be in the form of raindrops or a giant wheat field, which is what Hawk is, and, like, the weather will affect, and they can tell, like, who's lying or not, and it's a story about family and about war and about fantasy and another world, and God, I can't! I'm gonna reread the beginning of the comic and I'm gonna fucking cry again of them just, like, hanging out, and then it all goes so badly, and he keeps seeing the fucking owl, and then all these memories of the horrible night where everything fell apart. But please read White Noise. Please read White Noise. It is a great comic. This is another great example of a comic that should be made by one fucking dude, just drawing it once a week. The effort and the dedication that takes, I appreciate it so much. It's Emily Carroll, that's irrelevant. This is Daughter of the Lilies. This is another one that came from Hiveworks. It is a great little comic. It's pretty, it's like a D&D comic, sort of. It's about a party of adventurers going on adventures, kind of, and there's a greater plot going on, but it's got some D&D-esque shit in it, and it's really great. I am actually gonna skip to the end. This is, like, minor, well, I don't know, it's pretty spoilery, maybe I shouldn't. But some of the, like, latest pages are real gorgeous. Oh, and they have fan art at the end of the chapters. That's another thing that I love that webcomics will do, is they'll put, like, little fan art at the end of the chapters. Look! So cute! Little fan art of the two. Ow! Like, look at this! Who the fuck? Ah! It's a great comic. It's gorgeous. It's sort of like a D&D-esque world. There's, like, an elf ranger, and there's an orc who everybody thinks is a dumbass, but he's actually really smart and does everyone's taxes for them, because they can't do their taxes, because they're stupid. But it's just lovely. Yeah. It's about Thistle trying to find a work job and such. What does the about say? This is just your average masked mage with a mysterious power, an enigmatic past, and, of course, the great burden of destiny on her shoulders. She's chased out of every town with torches and pitchforks when the locals see her face, and is eagerly sought after by a great and terrible figure who now defines most of her dark thoughts towards herself. Out of desperate need to make a quick buck so she could move on to a new, quiet place to live, she joins up with a small band of mercenaries, but quickly finds herself unwittingly swept up in and caught off guard by their bonds of loyalty. Will these unruly, uncultured, rough-around-the-edges fighters be the ones to help Thistle realize her sense of self-worth in time to stop the shadows of her past from overwhelming and consuming the world? Time will tell, I suppose. It's a comic largely about the importance of self-worth, the different forms love can take, how it can redeem and empower us, as well as issues relating to anxiety. There are also unicorns, manticores, ghouls, goblins, cannibalistic elves, dragons, gods, fairies, ghosts, werewolves, demons, angels, and so on. It's a pretty D&D comic, and it's pretty great. It's very entertaining, and I quite love it. That's not the one I wanted. This one makes my heart feel so whole and healed. Preenie's a young cat with a magical brush-like tail. She's all ready for her first day of 6th grade. Until she's approached by a mysterious wolf on a mission. So remember early DeviantArt where people would make sparkle dogs and just have a fun-ass time role-playing with each other and running around pretending to be wolves? This is that comic. The best thing about this comic is that there's these little doodles around the edge, and it's just a little preeny, and all of the characters pretty much. Let me go to the end of a chapter really quick. Chapter 1 credits. Credits! Comic art, story, and characters not listed below, created by the author. These are all adopts from old DeviantArt pages. These are all the characters that appear in the comic, and they're put into this comic in this MS Paint style, and these are all adopts from mostly, like, 13-year-old artists and their old DeviantArt names, and they're being put into this loving form, and this comic is about these evil black feathers that make everything less sparkly and exciting, and they make them boring and black, and it's sad, and it's beautiful because of that. It's so beautiful that it's using that, and these young-ass artists who are just, like, doing this fun stuff, and it's just embracing the joy and the love of it so much, so hard. I'm, like, getting teary-eyed talking about it. I just adore it so much. The love of, like, the creativity that young people have, the love of that sort of style of, yes, all of these characters they appear in other places in the chapter. Like, this is how they might look in the chapter itself. Like, this is a character who was adopted. This is a character who was adopted. These are all, like, someone drew them first, and then they adapted them into this comic with, like, the purple with, like, the blue spotty tail and the blue on the ears. This is actually a good way to, oh, wait, never mind. We've gone away from the scientists. Anyways, they get stabbed by a feather, and then they turn all gray and sad. Yeah, look, you got stabbed by a feather, and he used to be all colorful, and now they're not, and it's so sad. And there's these little doodles around the edges of the page, and they're all so cute, and it just embraces the love for creativity, and, like, who cares if it's a purple cat with swirls on its tail? It's beautiful anyway, and I love it so fucking much. And the credit pages are, like, the most wholesome, beautiful thing. Like, remember at the beginning, that one with an X in his eye? There he is! And there's the scientist! And here they all are, and they look so cute, and all characters were adopted, bought, or used with permission from the respective artists. All characters not listed here were created by her. All names are DeviantArt.com users unless listed otherwise. Like, Sans Forever is the name. Oh my god! It's just... it's the love and care for art and for young art and the support for, like, kids. It just fucking gets me. And it is, like, a genuinely, like, cute, good comic. It's just about this kid who wants to go to fucking 6th grade, and it's... it makes me emotional. And it also, like, in some of these later chapters, it's, like, relating into, like, is it fair to, like, have a chosen one, like, who is a child, and isn't it kind of fucked up that you have, like, a chosen one, and it's just, like, a fucking baby child, and everyone's like, yeah, this person will save the universe, and it's like, I'm a kid, I can't do that, except that the kid is like, yeah, let's do this, and then all the adults are like, hey, this is fucked up, why put all this pressure on this kid? But it is just fucking beautiful, and I love it so much, and it has such passion in every inch of it, and I love it. God. This one's also cute. This is another one that's about, like, kids. It's a coming-age story. But basically, Ken goes to school, and in his school there is a new kid who wears a cat mask for reasons, and we figure out, like, his story, why he wears the mask. He's spoiler alert slightly, he's got, like, scars on his face and doesn't want to show it to anybody, and they just, like, the fumbling steps of a friendship of trying to respect boundaries but also wanting to, like, help your friend grow from their boundaries, and it's just cute. It's a cute story about kids, and luckily, like, there's no one really bullying him. Like, it's mostly social anxiety. If there was, like, a lot of, like, major bullying, I would be very sad, but there's not, luckily. It's just about these kids, and, like, they all have their own issues and their own stuff. Did I put... Yes, I did. It is somewhat similar to Humor Me, which is a great comic about Charlie. Charlie's goals in life are pretty simple. Get her high school diploma, become a legal adult, take care of her 4-year-old with way too literate brother, and make sure social services don't realize their dad has run away. So grabbing the unfortunate interest of one famous James Harford surely wasn't part of her plans, especially when he, like everyone else apparently, thinks she's a boy. The only reason they think she's a boy is because she's just, like, lazy and not willing to put on girl clothes. And the, like, boy uniform is cheaper. It's very funny. But, yeah, updates once a month. It's just about, like, her trying her best to, like, hold everything in her life together. And, like, her dad is a fucking baby child who just fucked off one day and sends, like, $20 and is like, you have the rest in a bank account. And she's like, I can't fucking access the bank account. And she also can't talk to him because he's unreachable because he's doing some acting job in fucking another country. And oh my god, she tries so hard. I love her so much. And then everyone is like, it's about assumptions, mainly. About people assuming she's a boy, assuming she's a weirdo, and she's like, I'm just trying to live my life. If everyone would leave me the fuck alone, that would help. It's beautiful. Oh, that's interesting. I would be interested in that if you remember the name of it. I guess let's finish off the Tapas ones. Grammary is a story that deals with language and the ways that it can be played with. It is a pretty punny comic. The Emperor's word is law. No one can resist. No one is above the law. That is until a rebel duo find a boy named No One. Noun, occult learning, magic. So by decree of the unfallible Emperor, the village is invaded. It's so simple and yet so cool. It plays a lot with shape language and with very simple, like, colors and cross-hatching, and, like, all of the chapters are kind of done in a different style. Like, you can see it starts to have blue backgrounds in some of the later chapters, and it's great. Like, look how I love, like, the line work and the cross-hatching. Like, this is done with a pen, and that is the only thing. And, oh, it's so cool. And then later we get into, like, the sepia tone stuff, and it's gorgeous. And, like, they're all done in different, like, some of them are done with pencils, some of them are done with pens, and it's a great story about how they meet this kid named No One, or Noan, really. It's not technically his name. And he's the only one who can kill the king, and they need to kill the king because the king is an asshole. And the simplicity of the artwork really works well with, like, the wordplay and the fact that, like, they're trying to find a way around words. And I think the art style works well with this. And she's, like, forced to follow the rules of this guy. Or of the king. They all are, because that's just how the king works. And it's a really cool comic. It really plays well. I think it's on, like, a hiatus right now, but definitely read it anyways. I might save that one. This is, in fact, one of the corporate sort of webtoons that I talked about. However, I like it anyways! And it's cute anyways. It's about self-esteem. Also, like, every episode has music to it, which is cool. It's got its own individual music. You can see, like, the art style is, like, not, like, the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my life. not to insult her or anything, but it's just about self-esteem, because everybody's like, Gwen looks like a freak. I hate her face. She looks like a horror movie monster, but she learns to love herself and tries to work past her curse, and there's all sort of, like, farcical comedic moments, and fucking Laverne the llama is getting dragged around by everybody, and is just a character in herself despite, you know, being a llama and not talking. Everybody loves the llama. It's a fun time. And, like, they've got music on all of them, and it's about self-esteem. Gwen is not like a movie princess. She's got a big heart, but she's not attractive and has a horrible singing voice. But she stumbles upon the Cursed Princess Club, which is a club of princesses who all have their own individual curses. One of them turns into a bird when she's nervous. One of them turns into a spider on her period. Some of them, like, one has, like, a porcelain face and, like, no actual eyeballs, so she has to put on fake eyeballs every day. And they're all, like, one of them is a crab who got turned into a human, who's now a human with crab claws, but desperately wants to be a crab again, and they're all just bonding over their curses, and they all find their own ways to be, to love themselves and to love each other, and it's cute. It's cute. This one is more of a comedy one, but it's honestly shaping up to be, like, a little bit kind of, like, a serialized horror comedy webcomic about a local couple dealing with their eccentric neighbor. I'm probably just going to read the first episode. This quiet suburb does not look like much. One may call it dull, but the affordable rents it provides makes it attractive to the locals. And the definition of dull could easily differ from one person to another. This is Rodney. Sorry for intruding, but you're parked in my spot. What the fuck? Babe, you didn't lock the front door? A petty and annoying neighbor who always looks on the edge of losing it so no one dare say anything. It's been kind of cold lately. Crunch, crunch, crunch. This grass is getting a bit tall for the neighborhood standards. OMG, he's still working on those cursed apples he bought last year from Mrs. Smith down the street. I believe you have something that belongs to me. He's just a freak. Like, honestly, I think this is probably good for autistic people, because he probably is. He's got something going on with him. He just does not know how to relate with people. He's always got creepy, wet hands. And look at him! He's just trying to be polite, but he's literally outside their door just like, hello, let me in your house, please. It's so funny, but it's great. Yeah, because you can't use the front door? Last time I did, you yelled at me. Yeah, you picked the locks! Would you like some apples? Granny Smith. Ah, ha, 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 ha. It's hilarious. And there is a serial killer in the town, but it's not this guy. He's just weird and has 20 rabbits. Or, I mean, 1,000,000 rabbits. It's more than 20. This is a very good one. This is a medieval story. He's just very randomly weird, but he's got his own specific, way. It's great. The Beast of Haddingly Hall is about a princess who was cursed, and it is... I should just read this. 20 years ago, a witch placed a curse over Clara Maria, dooming it to isolation and transforming its princess into a monster. None of this concerns Mallory Blas. She's far too busy running from her own problems to care for the dealings of royals. But when she volunteers to work at Haddingly Hill Palace, Mallory learns that the secrets of the town run deeper than she could have imagined, and that she may be one of those secrets. So this town is stuck until they can get this princess married, who is a monster, and her monstrousness gets worse when she's upset, and... she's just a tragic character. She's so tragic because she just didn't ask to be a monster. She just got turned into a monster, and now she's just hanging out, and her dad is constantly trying to marry her to someone so they can get out of this dumb isolation that their town is in, and everyone is just pretending to like her because they all think she's disgusting, except for Mallory, who actually likes her. So anyways, the answer is lesbianism. The answer is always lesbianism. We haven't got there yet. This is one of the ongoing comics. But I still love it anyways. Uriah, oh my god. Every time I see that Uriah is updated, I'm like, I drop everything! I gotta go read the update! I'm addicted to reading it. It is a horror comic. This is a very brutal horror comic. It has basically every trigger warning. Unless you are ready for that, please don't. This is about people who are filming snuff films. Like, that is what this comic is about. It is about a kid who is trying to escape this horrible, basically, cult of people who make snuff films. One of the things that I love about this comic is their depiction of pain is they will invert the colors like you would on a photograph when you are looking at a particularly awful subject, and it really hammers home, like, the main character's name is basically Thumbless up until a certain point because he doesn't have a name and we don't know his name, but he is missing a thumb, and there is a part where you are looking at his thumb, except it's in inverted colors, and it really hammers home how awful that is for him and how much it hurts for him, because it's these, like, neon white and green colors like inverted photos have, and it's cool, and it is a very intense comic, but I really like it. So read it if you are into horror. If you are not, then stay away. It is very intense, but I like it because I like horror. There's one more horror comic that I will talk to you about later. I don't feel like this is a great image coach. I have mentioned Devil's Candy before. You know I love Devil's Candy. Devil's Candy is great. That's not the fashion show one. Where's the fashion show one? Is this the fashion show chapter? Okay, this is the fashion show chapter. I don't know which page we'll start on. Yes, this is where... Okay. So, someone is gonna walk the fashion show. I'm just gonna show you the fashion show just to show you the art style and how fucking great it is. Oh, I don't believe I've seen this student before, though she certainly is a lovely specimen. A stunning fall number with a hint of melancholy. What secret do those steely eyes hide? Ah, and the sentinels begin their onslaught. Whoosh! Flip, unfurl, bam! Fall has given way to winter! I feel the chill. What sadness has frozen this girl's heart? Look at it! Fucking look at it! Spring! She's graced us with a smile. Such warmth! But appears the sentinels have a scorching summer in store. Indeed, they seem positively livid. Bam, 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 boom, bleh, bleh. Ka-chow! I can't watch Sentinels. Why? It's just fashion. No, look, it's the summer sun! A piping hot Paretto! That was off the hook, yo! Word. Dang, you are fine, girl. You want to boogie with me after the show? It's so good! Oh my god, wait, actually, this is really funny. Although we clearly have a tough act to follow, we have one more entrance. Our last entrant, he just got beat up outside. Look at his little body. It's so good. Monsters Candy takes place in, like, the best version of a world where it's, like, the, like, Nightmare Before Christmas world and the, like, Monsters world. I love every single character so goddamn much. My favorite is Ricket. Look at Child. My child. She already has family. I'm adopting her anyway. She likes being a prince. Are you kidding me? Ah! I love her so much. I love all of the characters. They're all great. This is my roommate's favorite because he's a fucking furry. And this is a little deer guy. They all have, like, their school IDs, and then these guys have driver's licenses. And then this poor motherfucker doesn't have a driver's license because he is too much for that. Has broken literally every bone in his body. It's so funny. It's so good. It's a great comic. It's funny. It is sometimes scary. It is just wonderful. The art is truly majestic. My favorite arc so far is the Devil's Six String arc, which this is not. This is Gridiron. This is also part 2 of that. It is just about the fucking unfortunate. If you need a Blorbo, I have a Blorbo of all time for you. It is not this guy. No. There he is! Ricket wakes up in a house, and everything is going wrong. Wah! Ah! Splat. Ow, ow, foom. Milo, bam. Ah! Crash. Ring. He's got the most... He has, like, a bad luck curse, and it's so fun to watch just all of the horrible things go wrong. And look at this. This is, like... I made this, like, an icon at one point for, like, social media. I made that my social media icon is Ricket's little face, because I love her. I think my luck's getting as bad as yours. Don't ever say that. Blorbo of all time. He's so pathetic. He's the most pathetic man that you have ever seen. Why did he think I needed so many eggs? Also, am I supposed to clean this up? It's hilarious. It's cute. It's fun. You will love every character in it. If you don't, then I'm coming to your house to beat you up because I love every character in it, and you better love every character in it too. Anyways, the flying ship is based on Russian fairy tales. It is very cool. Dobrina is another one that I'm fucking adopting. She had a dad, and something happened to her dad, and now she needs a parent, so I guess it's gotta be me. It's gonna be me. Whoops. Grumpy Dobrina sets out on a quest to marry a princess, but in the vast stardom of glass where magic has been outlawed, troubled histories catch up with even a flying ship. She has a magical flying ship. She meets a wizard, and the wizard is like, okay, hello. She gives the wizard, one... I've traveled far and grown weary. Have you a crust to spare? All I got is half a sugar bun, but you can have it. Even the smallest offering is a feast to a hungry man. And he turns it into a whole feast, and she and her dog eat it all up. And then there's this thing where, like, you can marry the princess if you have a flying ship and do this quest. Marry a princess, the big idea. I mean, why would anyone? How? You must swear to go to the palace as swiftly as you can to seek out the princess. You must swear to find a crew, a strong crew, each possessing an extraordinary gift. And you must swear to bring the Tsar the black egg of the deathless. I can cast a spell that will let you hold this world in your hands. If you swear to do these things, I will make it so. A crew? Yeah, I swear, I guess. Finally, I complete my spell. I will require your wooden leg. You want my, I'm kind of using it right now? You will only be without it for a moment. Sure, why not? You don't ask for much, do ya? And he turns her leg into a fucking ship. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a fucking ship that can fly. Oh my god. Ah! Woo! And they have a vision of all of the crew members they must gather. And she gets a new crystal leg and passes the fuck out, because why wouldn't you? And guess what? She has a flying ship now, and she's gonna go collect her crew and then marry a princess. And it's fucking majestic as hell, and it's a fairy tale, and it's great, and I love it. And where's the shot of the ship flying over the things? Yeah! Yeah! We had an adventure! So if you like fairy tales and Russian fairy tales, there you go. It's great. It's fucking wonderful. It involves other folklore, Russian folklore, like the Rushka she meets at one point. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. But they're like they're like lake creatures who will drag you down and drown you in the lake. They're like that kind of thing. But it's just such a great story, and I'm suffering currently because the current chapter, I'm like, everybody's upset, no! But it's great. Definitely recommend. It's such a fun romp. It's about fairy tales. It's about everything. And I believe we are now down to our final one. The art in this comic rivals anything I've ever seen. It is so creative. It is so fucking cool. This is technically spoilers. I guess I'll read the description. A ditzy lifeguard and an armored killing machine take on swarms of undead in this colorful twist on a zombie beach apocalypse. Can Bone the super soldier escort his doe-eyed haphazard partner to safety in one piece, or will opposing forces, both living and dead, try to take everything from them? It's about a ditzy blonde bimbo and the big fucking guy who's gonna protect her, and it's great. And before that, I need to show you this chapter. This is the artist who has been transformed into a zombie beach apocalypse. I just need you to look at this. The art that is referenced, the styles, the way it all flows into each other. I don't even know how you can fucking pull this off as one person. Hello? It's one dude making this? Are you fucking sure? Anyways, Splatterland episode 6, Pearls Before Swine. The story of the artist. Against all odds, the chain link fence of reinforced iron holds. Here are all the zombies. Like, already, whoa, there's like 8 things going on here. This is like full Goya. This is like a Disney cartoon. What are the lips doing? Get that lower intestine off of me! Here's Bone going through his shit with a great white shark. It goes from like so blended and like the lines are so indistinct to so clean, so crisp. The colors change so much. I don't even know. This one updates like less than once a month. This one updates very rarely, but every episode is such a treat that I do not care how long it takes for the episodes to come out. I am telling you. Look at this. The fucking isolated eyes. This, like an Escher painting. Ma chérie, I cannot release you until you learn the depths of my, how you say, devotion. The door to my atelier has been locked, and I will never again be evicted. This is a tranquil place, a plexus of blood vessels and sinew, pumping the heart of a titanic dream. But time feeds on the dream, ages it, rots it, still water in the ever-shrinking pool of opportunity. These winding streets converge onto a dead end. Finding companions with whom one can decay is necessary to mere existence. But after a lifetime of solitude, I have come to realize my lonesome suffering was not in pain. That pain was all in service of summoning you. Look how good. Look how cool. Oh my god. This is what he sees in his eyes. Ma Galatia, you smell like a nosebleed. So they're talking, and they met before. Go buy the merch. Anyways, they met before. It was last summer. I don't know how I don't remember you sooner by that stupid accent. Your portrait is nigh complete, ma chérie. Yay, how fun. Fini, here you are. Thank you. Hope you didn't draw me too cute. I've never been so freaked out. It is a fancy up-and-coming style. It is called Japanime. You drew me like a parade float. Look at it. The fucking whiplash from this shit, to this. These are made by the same person. What? Are you kidding me? I love it so much. The colors, the way the world just melts. Look at it. And then, like, the switch. Like, this is realistic. Look at this face. That's, like, almost photorealistic, like a little bit enhanced. And then this is full cartoon. And then there's this. And it's like, what is that? Oh my god. The highs and lows are so amazing. Like, how much did this person study? Because there are references within here. Like, this is a distinct style itself. This has its own distinct style itself. The, like, hyper-focus, the nosebleed. Of course he smells like a nosebleed. The transition from the nosebleed to the paint. The, like, way that the world... And now suddenly we have splatter effects, too. Oh, my God. The way that it blurs as he's getting drunker. This. The colors, the light of it, the way it all blends together. This. It references the scream in a minute. And then it gets so bright and clean suddenly as, like, the real world outside of the zombie world. Oh, the eyes. You're nothing more than blood vessels and bugs, a floating corpse wrapped in plastic. Hey, wait, I didn't... Just like the rest of them, my Galatia is not here. Yet I am certain, if I uproot you from this dreamless realm, pulp you into paint, and stretch that silky flesh onto a canvas, then I will be one step closer to reaching her. Wriggle, wriggle, buzz, buzz. And the warnings, the neon of it. Just fucking look at this. This is one chapter. They're all like this. It's amazing. It's amazing. Look at it. The way that it bleeds, the neon, the, like, graffiti of it. Oh my god. Get up. And suddenly it's turned into a Western. Mickey! Mickey! Bam, 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 bam. Oh, crackers. I forgot. I'm out of bullets. Ugh. Look at him. What is happening to your head, my guy? What is that? Flexed ass arm? This is what all of them are like. These are the latest chapters, and they're all so fucking cool. And this is an ad for this comic? Where did this even come from? Oh my god. It's so cool. It's influenced by so many things. This is the art. Like, that is fucking, that old that is Nostromo. Or, that's not the fucking name of it. The fucking old vampire film. Oh my god. And then we get these, like, Van Gogh sort of oil paints. And then it gets darker and deeper. And, like, I think that might be an actual picture. It's just, like, pixelated and artifacted. And now there's, like, these burning faces. And it just drips and it melts. And look at that. That's fucking Picasso. And look at her face here, where it's just, like, back to cartoons. It's, like, high art, cartoon, high art, cartoon, Dracula. And it's fucking, like, Dracula on the box of fucking cereal now. And, oh my god. Look at it! I can't. Like, I can't believe that someone made this and that it's not, like, on every billboard in New York City. It is so cool. Fucking Matrix Akira ass bullshit of her dodging bullets. Holy hell. It's hard to tell what's happening, but that's also because I'm going through it very quickly. And this is, like, dropping you into things. So I'm sorry about that, because I am skipping a lot. Ooh! What is this? This is, like, some fucking Coraline art style shit of, like, the original author who does all that cool shit for Neil Gaiman. Oh my god. Look at her. Look at it. The perfect image surrounded by Picasso and by pop art and by I don't think it's that hard to parse plot lines. I think it's better when you're reading it yourself. I mean, it can be kind of confusing, but he's holding his own head. It's Shakespeare. It understands why Picasso made art the way he did. Like, it understands it, and it's... And then back to this, where she's just gorgeous again. And then back to this, where she's a fucking internet cat meme! It's insane. Like... Sometimes I don't even understand how it's possible. This fucking, like... I know there's some references in here. Oh, what is going on in this battle? I don't even know. There it is. There's the Scream reference I was thinking of. Reference to the Scream. Ugh. But this is so cool. Where his delusion... It's like a lady made of oil paint crawling out of a portrait and coming to whisper in his ear and tell him what to do. And he's making all this art. And then this swap. And suddenly it's black and white. Oh my god. Anyways. And her, where she's based on like one of those sea slugs, the angel sea slugs. It's insane. One of these is like a reference to like one of the first films ever made where there's, like the rocket going into the moon. I think that's what that is a reference to. And it's so cool and so good and so gross and weird and cool. And it's just everything. And that's basically the end of the stream now because I have run out of tabs. Read webcomics. Read Splatterbrain. Read White Noise. Read all the ones that I've mentioned today. Read your own. Go on Webtoons. Look in the Canvas section. Go on Tapas. Look in the Canvas section. Go on Hiveworks. find one that you like, hover over it. It will have a description, or you can just try the first chapter and then drop it if you don't like it, or just look at one that has an art style that you like. Why is that the image? I hate that guy's face. It's horrible, but I'm into it anyways. They could be so much, and Splatterbrain especially just blows me away with the originality in every single panel. You can find something you like in here. And yeah, read more webcomics. That's the PSA. That's what this whole stream is. You will read webcomics now. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to pick a goodbye song, and I'm going to say goodbye. It was sort of a short stream, but ever since I figured out how to share my screen, I wanted to do this stream because it is such a unique art form, and they are so... It is a form of art where it can be made by one person, and that is so unique and so special that it can be made by one person, and I love that. I love it. And it's great. So yeah, try and find ones that you will like, because there's something. Oh, wait, actually I should probably not. Anyways. All of my dorky recommended videos. We're gonna do Don't Let's Start by They Might Be Giants. Song about breakups. Let's go. So go read some of those. I'm gonna archive this stream so that people can watch it in the future. I hope you do look through it. I'll probably make a time-coded version as well sometime, but you know. Here we go. Don't Let's Start by They Might Be Giants. My mic is on? Yes, it is. Okay, here we go. Woo! Don't let's start. This is the worst part. Could you believe for all the world that you are my precious little girl? But don't let's start. I've got a weak heart and I don't get around how you get around. When you are alone, you are the cat, you are the fawn, you are an animal. The words I'm singing now mean nothing more than me out to an animal. Wake up, smell the cat food in your bank account, but don't try to stop the tail that wags the hound. D-word destruction over and over again. And do I need apostrophe? Teeny, this torture. Down, let's start. This is the worst part. Could you believe for all the world that you're my precious little girl? But don't, let's start. I've got a weak heart and I don't get around how you get around. No one in the world ever gets what they want, and that is beautiful. Everybody does, straight in and sad, and that is beautiful. They want what they're not, and I wish they would stop saying deputy dog, ding ding, deputy dog, ding ding, deputy dog. Destruction over and over. Into any apostrophe, teeny, this torture. Don't, let's start. This is the worst part. Could you believe for all the world that you are my precious little girl? But don't, let's start. I've got a weak heart and I don't get around how you get around. I don't want to live in this world anymore. I don't want to live in this world. Don't, let's start. This is the worst part. Could you believe for all the world that you are my precious little girl? But don't, let's start. I've got a weak heart and I don't get around how you get around. That one was kind of out of my range, so I fucked it up a little bit, but it's okay. Anyways, have a lovely evening. I will see y'all this weekend, I guess, for more Sekiro, because I love suffering. Maybe another thing. But goodbye for now. Have a great night. Go read more webcomics. Go read the ones that I suggested specifically. And also, if you have suggestions, feel free to send them to me. I'm always looking for new cool shit. Bye. Love you. Miss you.